At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Present.
Freeholder Carter.
Present.
Freeholder Estrada.
Present.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Present.
Freeholder Hudak.
Here.
Freeholder Jallo. Freeholder Mirabella.
Present.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Here.
And Chairman Granados.
Present.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders present.
Thank you. Clerk of the board, please lead us in the prayer and salute to the flag.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk of the board, please read the statements of compliance with Open Public Meetings Act.
The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2018, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2018 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2018 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Thank you very much. We're going to have 2 presentations. They definitely signal our youth who are making tremendous efforts in making a change, a positive change in our communities. And I just want to say before the presentation starts, thank you for everything you're doing. And to Sarah, who I follow on social media nonstop, you know, all the stuff she's doing, positive things. You truly are inspiration to many of us in everything you're doing and making sure your voice is heard. So for the first presentation, I'd like to call upon Freeholder Carter and Freeholder Mirabella. Thank you very much.
Back up. Got that one down. Good evening, everyone. It truly is a pleasure to be standing here. I believe we have a video, though, I'd like to show first before we start anything. So if you can start the video, it would be great.
Talk to me about your experience before.
Well, I have a little sister, and I remember she started getting bullied when she was only in kindergarten. I mean, bullying can start at that young of an age, and it went to a point where she didn't even want to come to school anymore. I mean, we're talking about someone who's 5 or 6 years old, talking about, oh, I don't want to go to school anymore, people are annoying me, like, nobody wants to talk to me, I'm so alone. Like, it's incredible how people could really be feeling this type of way at such a young age.
I remember one time we had to get weighed for our class to see how your health was, and I was like 130. Now in my head I'm like, okay, like, that's fine. The first thing someone said was, oh, you're like a big buffalo. That was the first time I had ever been bullied in my entire life.
It's really sad for the individual who feel like they're, being bullied or not respected. I do remember some time, though, when I was in college, and I was in a fraternity, other people that were already in the fraternity that were bullying me a little bit and, pushing me around and not respecting me. And that was very frustrating. What I think that people can do is raise the awareness. You feel like you're being bullied, report to somebody that you respect. Whatever you feel that you need to do to raise the awareness, to remove yourself from that situation, I think is something that you should do.
I think bullying impacts everybody, not only the victim, not only the bully, but the people around them. The bystanders, I feel, are the people who are affected the most, honestly. They not only do they see the problem occurring, but it's up to them to decide what they want to do about it.
Bullying is a cry for help. The person who is a bully wants attention, whether they're being neglected from the home
or how they feel about themselves. And for the people who are being bullied, it's because they're vulnerable to what the bully is saying.
You know, what I want to say to the bully is a lot of things, actually, but one thing is, what do you get out of it? What do you get out of bullying people who suffer for every day to live the same life that you have the privilege of living? Like, why?
And then I think that's why bullying is something that I think comes from within. It's problems that you have with yourself, and you kind of tend to try to highlight other things about people that you don't think is supposed to be there. It's not good. So to anyone who's getting bullied based off of how you look or the way you think you're supposed to look, don't. And if you're your own bully, just know that you are beautiful and you are worth being praised for, and that we're not all supposed to look alike. We weren't born to look alike. We're all supposed to be different. So just love yourself.
If you think that you can't just walk away from being bullied, you need to reach out and say something to someone. Go to somebody that you feel comfortable in speaking to. Go to someone you think that is in authority, but don't hold it in. You need to talk to somebody, even if you can find somebody. Listen, there's a lot of agencies out there also, and it might be a time where we make sure all of our youth have those agencies that they can reach out to. Because I know sometimes it's hard. It's hard when you don't know where to go. It's hard when you think somebody else. But if you allow them to take your power from you, then you are going to feel helpless. We want to make sure that you're secure and you know that there's always help out there for you.
Together, we can beat bullying.
That was our students. Those were individuals. We had 200 students in December 2017 who took an opportunity. They were 10th and 11th graders that came to Kane University to a one-day leadership training, Union County Student Training Enrichment Program known as UC STEP. They took the opportunity to work with individuals they never met before, get into a group. These groups, they did some team building. From the team building, they had conversation. They came up with an idea. They were able to put the idea down in some type of art form, whether it was poetry, reading, writing, or even just a poster. But then they got up as a group and they displayed it to all of their peers that were there with them today. Their peers had an opportunity then to vote. They couldn't vote for themselves, but they got to an opportunity to vote for which one they felt was the best. As they did this, we came up with the top 3. The top 3 then went on the internet and had about a 2-week period to get voted on internet-wise that anybody could vote on. They got their school, they got their classmates to see all of the presentations, and then they voted on. And we do have a winner of that group. And I want to let you all know the winner is... I know that you could tell just from the video. The winner is Let's Grow Together, Branches Against Bullying. It was the Orange Group. So it is a pleasure. We have the Orange Group, many of them here today. And there were 15 young adults who worked together that came up with the concept, who talked with each other, who really are passionate about this. This year was a little bit different. This was the 5th year we were able to do UC STEP. This year, every year we've had a cause. They've been going out and they've collected. They've gone out and they have sold items. They've gone out and they've reached out and got books. They got school supplies. They got canned goods. They got athletic gear. They got supported the soldiers. This year, it wasn't so much about going out and doing a cause in that manner, but it was really a cause among themselves, and it's an anti-bullying cause. We gave them the concept, and they were really able to go out there and springboard and come up with the ideas. And I'm very proud of this idea, and it's really gone to an expansion. In a couple of minutes, we're going to have the young individuals come up. We have a resolution for each one of you, but I want to take an opportunity to thank our Deputy County Manager, Amy Wagner, for her vision in keeping this going with us. She puts a lot of work into it. But I also want to take an opportunity to thank Dina Meserons. I'm close. I messed it up, and I apologize. But Dina, who has really taken the program this year and led this program from start, and we'll see it to the finish. This is only the beginning of the program. This is where we announce the winner, and from the winner, now they're going to take it back to their schools, and they're going to compete, not now as a group that they were the orange group, but now it goes to a competition to all of the schools around the county. And what they come back with is the top 3 schools. Is it 1 school? 1, 2, 1? We have 1 top school this year that will come back and be the winning school, and we will award them a prize. So I'm very excited about it. I'm going to give Freeholder Marabella an opportunity to say a few words.
Thank you, Freeholder. I'm just so proud of UC STEP, how it's evolved over the last 5 years. I'm proud of Freeholder Carter. It was her idea as chairman of the board back 5 years ago to come up with this program to pull the best and brightest students from around Union County, have them learn leadership skills, have them learn about community outreach and community awareness. And bullying was a very good topic for this year, and I really want to congratulate the Orange Group for their idea. They got picked amongst all the great ideas and then voted on to select and rise to the top. I'm looking forward to now the execution of this plan throughout all the high schools in Union County so that we can further raise the awareness. So I congratulate you as well.
Thank you. I also want to take an opportunity to thank our chairman, because with him and with his initiatives that he has, this is something that is also near and dear to your heart. So thank you so much for including it this year into your chairman initiatives. So at this time, I'm going to call the Orange team up. We have George McReynolds from John E. Dwyer Technology High School in Elizabeth. We have Maitel Ashri from Jonathan Dayton High School in Springfield. We have Derek Charles Cosby Hurling from Linden High School. We have Perrette Foy from Linden High School. We have Nina Suske from New Providence High School. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing in any way. We have Rashana Fowler from Plainfield High School. We have Kyle Isolda from Scotch Plains Fanwood High School. And we have Sydney Alava from Union High School. I'm going to borrow yours for a second because I didn't. This is just a representation. There were a total of 15 members on their team. They were one of the largest groups. And I'm going to tell you something. It's really hard when you get into a place and you really don't know anyone. You come on a bus and you have your friends, but then you walk into the location and all of a sudden you say, here, put your T-shirt on. Okay, sorry, we're separating you. Go to find the people with the color of your T-shirt. And you work the rest of the day, and I have to tell you, you all worked outstandingly together. You really had your ideas. You took everyone into consideration while you were working there, so thank you so much. Let's give them another round of applause. So I just want to let you know that UC STEP created to provide high school students the opportunity to develop a county-wide community service around a topic they feel is important while teaching them leadership, personal growth skills, and responsibility within their community. And that's what it is all about. It's about the responsibility and what we have to do in being able to give back. This is a project that won't just die once we get through this time frame of picking the one school with the top winner. This is something that will also go into next year, because in October, we plan on having, October is the anti-bullying month. So we are planning, and they've come up with some ideas for us to have an anti-bullying rally. So we're very proud of you all, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now we're going to take a picture. You guys ready to take a picture? If everybody can take their resolutions and put them like this. Christina, if you can come on up. Amy, if you can come on up. Chairman?
For the second presentation, I'll call upon Freeholder Garrettson and Freeholder Strada.
Drop the mic.
Tried.
You have to do that after you speak, Freeholder.
So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It is my pleasure to be able to bring up Sarah to come up with us this evening. Freeholder Estrada, myself, and also Freeholder Bergen, we had the pleasure of being at the swearing in for our governor, and we were very, very pleased by not only your presence on stage with so many dignitaries, but also representing your state, my community, our hometown of Hillside, but also the work that you do every day. So I would be remiss if I'm going to actually ask you just to tell us, because we know so much about the DREAM Act, but for you to talk to us a little bit, just a minute, about why this has been such an important work for you and why being a representative in our state was so important.
Well, first of all, thank you, and thank you to the freeholders. This is a very symbolic and important night. Congress has failed to support the community of dreamers that New Jersey has. For those of you that don't know, there's 22,000 dreamers, people like I who are aspiring professionals or already in the workforce. So to be able to have our elected leaders' support is not only important, but vital. Like, if we don't have that, then we're completely at risk. Being able to represent my community means that I'm able to share just my story as a symbol of so many people who are affected. I actually am a proud graduate of Union County College. I graduated in May, and I was enrolled in Seton Hall, and I was accepted, but because there is no financial aid and not all scholarships cover you for school, I was not able to continue school. I'm hoping to go back, but this is just one of the many stories. There's people who already have kids and are affected because they are DACA themselves. It's really critical, and 122 people lose their status every single day. So although it might not be as publicized, like, people are impacted daily the moment that DACA was rescinded. So this is extremely urgent for my community, and I'm humbled because I'm only one of the many people that are out there working really hard to just belong and to be accepted into a country that they've made their home and that's still denying them. So I'm really humbled to be here. So thank you so much.
So Sarah Mora, on behalf of all of the freeholders here this evening, we are very proud of you because you truly do represent our county and represent what's the best that we have to offer. So we thank you for all of the good work that you've done and continue to do. But I present to you this this resolution this evening. On behalf of our chairman, Sergio Granados, our vice chairwoman, the freeholders Bergen, Carter, Estrada, myself, Hudak, Jala, and Mirabella. It is presented on behalf of myself and also freeholder Estrada. Whereas the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders congratulates you, Sarah Mora, for leading the Pledge of Allegiance at Governor Phil Murphy's swearing in ceremony. And whereas Sarah's family left Costa Rica when she was 3 years old for a better future, she grew up in Hillside and received the Deferred Action of Childhood Arrivals, DACA, when she was turned 16 years old, just in time for her to get her driver's license and take the SATs alongside her classmates. Whereas, even though Sarah's immigration status made her ineligible for state and federal financial aid because of DACA, she was able to get a work permit and work to put herself through Union County College. After Sarah graduated and was saving to transfer to Seton Hall University to earn her bachelor's degree in diplomacy, the Trump administration announced the end of DACA. And whereas without DACA, Sarah is not able to get a driver's license or a job, leaving her no possibility to pay for education. Congress is stalling on passing the DREAM Act that will allow youth like herself to succeed. And whereas New Jersey has the third highest share of immigrants of any state in the country, 1 in 5 New Jersey voters is a naturalized citizen or child immigrant, and nearly 30% of New Jersey businesses are immigrant-owned and are creating jobs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders congratulates you, Sarah Mora, upon your achievements thus far and supports efforts to dream and pass this act. Be it further resolved, a copy of this resolution suitably prepared be presented to you, Sarah, as a sincere token of this board's congratulations and best wishes, signed on this day. I'll ask our chairman to come and join us.
In the meantime, while the chairman comes down, you know, it's interesting, while Sarah was leading our Pledge of Allegiance the other day at the governor swearing in, I could only remember back in 1961 when I arrived in the U.S., my 3 other brothers and sisters and I, and ended up in a camp for immigrants because my parents were held at the airport in Cuba. And I can sympathize very much with you and the things that you were going through, because no doubt that every group of individuals have the same things happen to it, and look how it's turned out. I think, if anything, we have to be positive, and hopefully that you will continue your education, because this nation is probably the most caring nation of the world. There are good hearts out there, and people who may have differences of opinion very remotely, difference of opinions about immigrants, but the reality is that this nation was founded on immigrants. Today, I am extremely proud to consider myself a U.S. citizen, and I've been a citizen for many, many years, and it is because the nation that it is, and I've traveled all over the world, there's nothing better than this country. And yes, we go through these bumps once in a while, but hopefully, and I'm very, I would say that I feel very positive about the future, because it is people like you who will make a difference in this country. Absolutely. You know, it's interesting when you listen to the debates about immigration and what have you, and you look, and I'm sure everybody's experience sees that most people who come to this country from other countries do work extremely hard to make their lives better for themselves and their families. So when you hear the terminology and chain migration and all this, you know, chain does not, it's not a good word for this. But the reality is, if a husband comes to the U.S. who has a doctorate degree in chemistry, his intention of coming here is to give his family a better life, and eventually he would like to bring his wife and kids. But unfortunately, some people see that as something negative, and I see that as this country is founded on families, is founded on education, on religion, and many other positive things that make us who we are. So Sarah, it's just a matter of time. We'll get there, and that's what we do every day. We fight to ensure that the word gets out and that elected officials, and this is not the first time our board talks about this, and we have supported many resolutions in essence to let public elected officials know how important it is for all of us, our families of Union County, to move forward in this issue. So we'll be there for you. Thank you very much. Chairman, you want to say a few words?
After you took them off. Sarah, like I said before, you are a true inspiration. Somebody who I think many of us look up to, not only as an advocate, but somebody who brings every issue, and no matter how much opposition you may have, you're going to continue fighting and have people like Freeholder Strada, the Freeholder Board, and many others supporting you any way we can in whatever way we can. So with that, just keep on fighting and know that you have our support. We're behind you.
Wait, go back.
One for the college. Always one more.
Wow. How old were you? 10. Wow.
Thank you everyone for attending. Reference to the presentations. Now move on to approval of communications. May I have a motion to approve the communications?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Thank you very much. So moved by Freeholder Mirabella and seconded by Vice Chair Kowalski. Clerk of the Board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen,
Yes.
Freeholder Carter,
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada,
Yes, under communication.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Mirabella,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Kowalski,
Yes.
and Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you very much. Tonight we have an ordinance for introduction. Clerk of the Board, please read the ordinance by title.
Ordinance number 792-2018, an ordinance fixing the salary of the county manager.
Freeholder Bergen, would you please move ordinance 792-2018 for first reading and introduction?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I would move for first reading ordinance number 792-2018, authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law, public hearing, and final reading to be held on February 8, 2018.
Thank you very much. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Kowalski. Clerk of the Board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen,
Yes.
Freeholder Carter,
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada, Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Mirabella,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Kowalski,
Yes.
and Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
The meeting is open to the public for the purpose of commenting on resolutions being offered for adoption only. Kindly state your name and town of residence for the record and the resolution to which you're referring, and adhere to the 5-minute time limit.
Anthony Esposito, Roselle, New Jersey. I'm looking at Resolution 2018129. Good evening, all members of the board and Chairman Granada. I looked into Mr. Oatman a little bit, and one thing I found is that Mr. Oatman doesn't live in Union County. It seems that Mr. Oatman's address is 565 Linden Avenue, Woodbridge, New Jersey. Also, according to Chapter 42, there is a process for choosing county managers, which is a very nice process. I think it's a wonderful process. And it's in your regs, like I said, Chapter 42, County Manager Candidate Selection Guidelines. This esteemed body, the question is, I don't think you followed the guidelines. It's a wonderful guideline. It picks different people from the community. It picks board members. It's a very nice guidelines. Anybody could look it up. It's Chapter 42 of the county laws and regs. So my one question is, why didn't you follow your own guidelines? Look, Union County consistently, year after year, is in the top 10 municipal taxed counties in the country, the entire country. And the least, the very least, that we, the citizens of this county, what we request is good government. And you're not practicing good government. You're not even following, actually it's a wonderful presentation here on county manager candidate selection guidelines, which you fail to follow. And I don't understand why you would fail to follow your own regulations other than the fix is in. Okay? It's already a done deal. But no one interviewed this gentleman. At least the committee did not. It's actually called the County Manager Citizens Selection Committee. You didn't even form the committee. First year, sitting as the chairman. You didn't follow your guidelines, Chairman. You didn't appoint the 2 members from the Freeholder Board to create the committee, which is part of your guidelines. You all voted on this at your organization meeting. Hope you read it. Because you didn't follow the guidelines, I have a big problem with that. It seems like the only way the citizens of this county can get good government from the municipalities and from their county, they have to go and create lawsuits, which is absolutely ridiculous. Why does a person have to file a lawsuit and incur all the costs of lawsuits when all we're asking is good government? Just follow your own process, is all we're asking. We know this guy's politically connected. So what? You know how many managers are probably out of work right now? From corporations that managed hundreds and maybe even thousands of people? How many people does a chief of staff manage? Do they manage union members? Because everybody who works in the county is a union member. That's not an easy task to manage union members. You could ask your county manager here. He'll tell you how difficult it is to deal with the unions. But you didn't even create a search committee, which is part of your own regulations. Please, please, give us good government. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just now. Okay, yeah, that's a comment, sir.
Good evening, new chair, Granatus, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood. To Mr. Esposito, I say ditto, of course. Good government he brings up. I've been saying that for 15 years probably. But anyway, and at the same time, 2018-129, that's the resolution for Ed Oatman. And I'm going to ask you to vote, or actually to table it until you really further check into this, maybe create that committee that you're talking about and do the proper procedure. But yeah, I did a little quick research on him, and yes, he's retired. So why don't you just say goodbye and let him drift off into the sunset? Why give him more money? He's retired. Somehow you guys just want to throw the taxpayers' money away at him. He's politically connected, of course. Chief of Staff of Scutari. Has no experience at county management or even at county, to tell you the truth. I got heavy reservations with this guy, but he's politically connected. So I'm going to ask you to the table. And one serious reservation I'm going to bring up, but I don't know I don't know if this is true or not. But looking online, I found records were impounded. But in 2006, there was a Mr. Oatman, and I don't know if it's the same Oatman, but he was accused of sexually assaulting somebody in Roselle Park. So I don't know if it's the same guy, but this is something that hopefully you looked into and said, yes, it's a different Oatman, or maybe you didn't look into it, because as Mr. Esposito says, you really do minor diligence at most, since we don't really see good government. So that's something to look into. Moving along, I mean, we do have other items, and a lot of it is funneling money to those who donate to the freeholders and their cronies. Number 86 on page 4 is CME, and $106,000 to freeholders and their cronies in 4 years. Neglia 87 on $19,000 in 4 years. Same page, I guess. Here's actually a question here for you. Number 91 at the very bottom, $29,500 for recycling containers to Jed Stock. Wow. I guess the question is, what's the quantity on that? Another one, page 6, 107 at the bottom, $35,000 for the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra to perform a concert at Echo Lake Park. I guess the question is why. I'd like to hear, why are they going to show up? They've never shown up before, as I recall. Page 7, 113, that's Mazer Consulting, $18,000 in 4 years to the freeholders and their cronies. He donated, and now he's on call for landscape architect services for $25,000. Landscape architect services. What's he going to say? You guys got to cut the lawn over there? Is that what it is? It's a joke, the way this money just flies around. Page 8. Yeah, on the very bottom, 124. You're increasing appropriation, $50,000 to Wiener Law Group. And I'm sure Freeholder Hudak's going to like this. Wiener Law, the principal of this, he was involved in the trash incinerator issue back in Linden, and he was found out to be stiffing the residents of Linden. Gregorio seemed to be promoting him too. And it turned out that he and his conclave, or whatever you want to call it, was going to build this incinerator and offer $1 a ton to the citizens of Linden to allow it to be built in Linden. Well, in researching, somebody came out that basically these incinerator conclaves that were going to be built were offering $2 a ton. So Wiener and his gang was going to steal the dollar out of the Linden taxpayers' pockets. I think, if anything, Hudak should be either abstaining or voting no on this one, because we're talking about some major issue here with this guy. But I guess good government, yeah, that's a joke. Also, the Wiener, back when it was Lesniak Wiener, they were thrown out of the RVSA as attorneys because they were overbilling. So here we are looking at a $50,000 potential bill from these guys, and they were already found out to be overbilling by the RVSA. Questionable. LaCourte Bundy, this is on page 9, number 125. LaCourte Bundy, $21,000 to the freeholders and the cronies in 4 years.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patterson, for your comments.
New name, Ray Known, $4,700.
Mr. Patterson, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a good, Mr. Patterson. Mr. Patterson. Mr. Patterson, your comments are up. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Have a seat. Thank you very much. For number 107, this is something we've already done in the past also. It was done last year also. For number 91, Director Graziano, please.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. That is a fully grant funded, and that's for 1,200 containers, different types of recycling containers for the schools in Union County.
Thank you very much, Director. Any other comments? Seeing no one else, I close the public comment portion. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2018-70 through 2018-142?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Motion was made by Freeholder Mirabella and seconded by Freeholder Hudak. Clerk of the Board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes, and a no on 129.
That was a no on 129.
That's correct. 218, 129.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak. Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Yes.
Chairman Granados.
Aye to all.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative with the exception of Resolution 2018-129, where you have 7 votes in the affirmative and 1 in the negative.
Thank you very much. We have a need to consider a resolution not previously listed or mentioned at last week's agenda meeting. Due to the fact that it's a timely issue, we have a need to consider this resolution from the floor. May I have a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved. Second.
Thank you very much. Motion was made by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Hudak. Clerk of the Board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak. Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Yes.
And Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
This meeting is open to the public for the purpose of commenting on the resolution from the floor only. Kindly state your name and town of residence for the record and adhere to the 5-minute time limit.
Good evening, new Chair Granados, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood. Just actually something simple. You said it was a timely issue, and I'm reading it. It's commissary services, and it's correcting a rate and a per kit fee. I guess what this is, and I'm only going to be asking a question here, and I'm not really going to be questioning whether it's Keefe or not, but it's just that you maybe made an error on a previous resolution. Was that what it was? And all you're doing is having to correct it? Is that what it is? Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Seeing no one else, before we close the portion of the meeting, County Council Barry, can you please just comment on it?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. That's correct. We're basically correcting a typographical error. It reflected a 38.5%, and it's actually the 33.5% is reflected here. I believe the fee was reflected as $573 a kit. It's actually $573 now, not $5.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2018-143?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. Motion made by Freeholder Carter, seconded by Vice Chair Kowalski. Clerk of the Board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Yes.
And Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you very much. The meeting is open to the public for the purpose of commenting on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the county. Kindly state your name and town of residence for the record and adhere to the 5-minute time limit.
Good evening, Chairman. Good evening, Board. My name is Rick Robinson. I'm here for the New Jersey Reentry Corporation. I see Freeholder Estrada. He was at the opening. I want to thank you very much. But I'm here to give you some good information regarding Union County. We are interested in reducing recidivism. We are also very much interested in reducing the numbers for unemployment. And most importantly, having people be whole again and be productive in our society. So our Elizabeth site, which opened up last week, is looking to serve the entire Union County area, which incorporates all the cities. So my ask here today is to actually have you use your influence, contact your people regarding different agencies and stuff like that, and pretty much have them embrace us, because we look to be the difference maker in regards to our reentry. The reason why we're going to be a difference maker because we have proven in other areas to be quite effective. And in that effectiveness, we actually branched out and expanded. So my ask is to the you, Mr. Chairman, and on the board, is to have your contacts reach out to our office in Elizabeth. We're at 214 Commerce Place, and we want to work with them. We really do. We want to make a difference, and that's the reason why I'm here today. So if you have any questions or you have a liaison that I may contact or my office may contact, we can actually get that going and pretty much establish a good partnership regarding your respective different districts that you represent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, you can also speak with Director Anderson and Director Charles, who can definitely give you exchanging information to probably work together. And I know this Freeholder Board believes in recidivism also and second chances. So
yes, sir.
Thank
you.
Would you introduce yourself to the gentlemen directors? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just one
sorry.
clarification. Also, DJ Kowalski was at that event the other day.
Thank you. And excuse me, Mr. Robinson, I think is it 214A Commerce Place?
It was 214A, but it's a mistake. There's no A. Sorry for leaving.
Right.
But there's just 214. We're right in the middle, and we're easy to find. We're right across the street from the police department. And again, we're looking to make a difference. We have social work experts. We have employment training experts. We offer tips. It's not a drawn-out campaign where an individual, man or woman, has to be there for like a number of months or something like that. We pretty much have them for a week, get them intensified in terms of their focus, and then we put them out there in the job market, and we have the data and the relationship with the felon-friendly corporations. So it's a proven equation, and we're looking to expand it in Union County.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Anthony Esposito, 414 East 3rd Avenue, Roselle, New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, last year, you all know I filed a lawsuit against the county, and it was tried that you tried to have it thrown out of court, like it wasn't a valid complaint. But the judge said it was a valid complaint, and at the time, Mr. Bergen was the chair, and at the last meeting of the board, you kind of let a ordinance or a resolution die in support of the Board of Education's part of the mind and body complex. So I guess that did not become law. And at the time, Mr. Bergen mentioned that perhaps the support for the municipal side of that project could be rescinded. So I'm asking this board if you would rescind the ordinance where you would guarantee the loans for the municipality of Roselle for the mind and body complex. At this point, I don't know where you're at with that. I don't know where the Union County Improvement Authority is. Everything seems to be up in the air right now. So I don't want to move forward if something's going to happen here. There's no sense in moving forward with a lawsuit. So I'm asking you if you could rescind those guarantees that were on the books. I believe there was at least 2 that was put out. So currently they are on the books, and if you would rescind them, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, with the county manager piece that I spoke about earlier, I'm really disappointed in my Democratic Party, okay? It was all celebrated when Democrats took control of this board, and we were hoping to get really good government, working for the people, working with the people. But to me, sitting here with a one party in control, I think we get worse government. I've been a Democrat my entire life. I only vote Democrat. But looking at what's happening here in Union County, it doesn't look good. Decisions are made because of relationships rather than decisions being made for the good of the people. You're all here to help us all. And we come from all different walks of life. Every single one of us are made differently by our Creator. We all have different skills and talents. And we use those skills and talents to improve society. And I'm really, really asking you, every piece of legislation that comes across your desk, look deep into it, study it, do the research. Because just doing it because someone asked you to and he's a good friend, it's not the best way to govern. You upset people. You upset a lot of people because you're not doing good government. And it's not going to stay like this forever because the people are going to really get upset. That's why the Democratic Party failed nationally, because of the way the Democratic Party is in this county. Everything's okay. Everybody's a good fella. All saw the movie. It's a good fella mentality. Please, make a change this year. Work for the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Director Taylor, if you don't mind elaborating on mind and body complex.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board, through you, Chairman. The ordinance that was adopted, the guarantee ordinance that was adopted in September of 2016 was effectively rendered moot because the appropriation that was authorized was canceled at the end of December 2017 via the cancellation resolution that the board adopted. So there is no funding authorization allowed. And without that funding authorization, that ordinance that has no effect.
Thank you very much, Director Taylor. Just in reference, Mr. Esposito, to 129, we've received correspondence and will not comment due to possible pending litigation. Just answer that. It's not like we're not trying to answer you, but it's possible pending litigation, and that's a reason to that. Anyone else from the public wishing to comment?
Good evening, new chair Granados, and ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood, and I'm welcoming you now because it's public speaking period, and so welcome aboard as chair for your first time. And Freeholder Garrettson, I welcome you aboard. I've paid attention to hillside politics over there. I supported you from afar. I mean, you know, it's a turmoil over there. It's politics, and more or less that's what Mr. Esposito refers to many times, where somehow politics gets in the way of good government. You know, we did have a freeholder one time. He was Freeholder Mapp, now mayor of Plainfield, but actually he started looking into resolutions and finding issues financially. He's a financially guy, and he started voting no because something didn't seem right. So he was actually trying to bring good government to the surface, but obviously he came up for re-election, and he didn't get the line, so he was out. So, I mean, God forbid you actually question something, you know, with integrity. And but I mean, I do hope that there will be a movement. I mean, it's not one of your initiatives. I didn't read your initiatives. I mean, I did hear some people on the radio laughing about certain ones of your initiatives, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But one of your initiatives, and I brought this up before, I'm past it, you know, should be restoring integrity in government. I mean, it seems, and I've talked about this many times, that you just embrace these politically connected criminal elements and forward a lot of money to them. I mean, one of them, you know, now that this guy, Albert Senatus Jr. is coming up now to the microphone, you know, he turns my stomach. I mentioned many times, he was caught. There was a waterfront commission on corruption, and he was caught abusing his power as assistant prosecutor back many years ago, getting privileged information for his
Mr.
acquaintance.
Patterson, you're referring to the wrong individual?
No, I'm not. That's his father. His father had
His father, so it's
issues
not the
too.
individual who came here.
Junior had this very similar issues. Junior had
But
it.
it wasn't those issues.
So anyway, and I've brought that up before. And here he is. He's still now, I guess, back as assistant prosecutor. Questionable character. Embrace. Oatman. I don't know. You better check on whether he was the one that did this sexual assault back in 2006.
That wasn't him, Mr. Patterson?
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because I started seriously wondering
I
what
think
kind of
everyone on this
people-
freeholder board takes strong consideration in making any recommendation.
Really?
When it comes, yes, yes, we do.
Well, that's the first I'm hearing
Okay,
of it.
well, it's the first time. Then it's the first time you heard it, but you're hearing it now.
Well, I doubt it, but that's all right. I'll continue
for it.
on. By the way, I recommended, if he's still here, Mr. Yuska, wherever he is. I recommend him. Why don't you promote from within? Mr. Fiello, you did the same thing. You promoted from within. Mike Yuska, very organized fellow. And they better not be laughing at Mike, because, he's a decent guy. Didn't I recommend you last time? I'm recommending him again. You say there's pending litigation on that? That's good, because there's the guy
All right,
that
Mr.
should
Patterson,
step up.
continue on, please.
All right, continue on. Gary Taffet of Acrisure. He was caught in a scandal of front end running. So in stocks, he had to pay $750,000. I pointed this out when Hudak was chair. Nothing. You just embrace him. Forward hundreds of thousands of dollars of county taxpayers' money to these guys. Crying time and time again. He used a public computer for sleazy emails. I mean, it's on the internet, no less.
All right,
These
Mr.
emails
Cron-
are disgusting.
Mr. Patterson.
It's on the internet. It's proven. I'm not here to argue with. I'm pointing out facts. You got a problem with facts about the
No,
integrity
continue
of a
on.
lot of
Continue
people?
on, Mr. Patterson. Continue.
How many people really want integrity in government? Raise your hand. Anybody over here? All of
Mr.
you?
Patterson, you addressed me through the freeholder board. Let's
Okay.
make sure we're perfectly clear on that.
Do you want integrity in government?
We
I'm
have
asking
integrity.
you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patterson. Continue on.
I think one of your initiatives, you should reword it and say you're going to bring back integrity. The pay to play, you should strengthen a lot better, because I see a lot of money, and I bring this up time and time again, a lot of money coming from taxpayers to these professional firms, and then suddenly the freeholders and the cronies are getting a lot of money also. So you just wonder, are these numbers being bloated just so they can forward taxpayer money?
Thank you, Mr. Patterson.
Welcome for the first year.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Starting off,
Yep. Any other comments from the public? Thank you very much. Seeing no one else, I'll formally close this portion of the meeting, and we'll move on to freeholder reports. Freeholder Hudak.
Thank you, Chairman. Just one brief comment today. The North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority, very important board, I think, in the area of $2 billion annually for various transportation improvement projects and regional coordination. Had their reorganization meeting a week or two ago, and they had the good sense to name Freeholder Angel Estrada as the chairman for 2018. Freeholder Estrada has previously served as the NJTPA's Project Prioritization Committee since 2016. Previously was the chair of the Planning and Economic Development Committee. And so he's going to bring a wealth of knowledge as well as a good spirit of service that I know we all appreciate very much. And I say, on behalf of the board, congratulations, and more importantly, get us some money. We'd appreciate it. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Mirabella.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to speak about our vocational schools for a minute. Our vocational schools in Union County strive for excellence, and I'm pleased to report that the combined efforts of the students, their families, teachers, and staff have been recognized by Niche.com in its top 100 schools in New Jersey list. For those unfamiliar with Niche, this is a database website that provides information for people looking for suitable schools and neighborhoods. Notably, every school in the top 100 list received either an A+ or an A from this organization. The list includes many private schools as well. So having 4 of our countywide public schools on this list is a wonderful reflection of the whole Union County community. The Magnet School placed 12th, the Academy for Allied Health placed 16th, the Academy for Information Technology 23rd, and the Vocational High School placed 49th. On behalf of this Freeholder Board, I'm very proud to support these vocational schools. Congratulations to our superintendent, Pete Cabadis, the administration there, and the entire vocational campus for a job well done. This is just another continuing example of the quality of our schools there and the dedication of the staff and the commitment that this Freeholder Board made 20 some odd years ago to build this campus with these high schools to provide opportunity for our students around Union County. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, I do want to say that I'm really looking forward to working with our new county manager, Oatman. He has big shoes to fill, but I'm sure he's up for the position. He will do very well working with this board and leading the day-to-day activities and the operation of Union County. I want to welcome him aboard. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Garrettson?
Thank you very much, Chairman. I would like to first start by saying that this month, January, we had so many different Dr. Martin Luther King programs, and it was a pleasure to be able to go throughout the county and have so much representation as a collective. But we also are moving now into February, Black History Month. And as this month begins, I would like to share on behalf of all the freeholders and invite all the residents and visitors to join us in celebrating not only a very, very wonderful program on February 10th, a musical. It's Porgy and Bess. It will be featuring a full orchestra at the historic Union County Performing Arts Center in Rahway. It is an actually free event, but we do ask that you contact the Performing Arts Center in advance to reserve a seat. We also have another event on February 21st. We are sponsoring a free screening of Men of Bronze. It's a rare 1977 documentary film about the African American soldiers of the 369th Regiment in World War I. This event will include a commentary by Dr. Jeffrey Sammons. He is a professor of history at New York University. He will also be presenting his book and also having time for questions. There's no pre-registration required for that event, but we do ask you to please participate. I'd also like to share that I'm very, very honored to have presented a proclamation or resolution, this evening to the Dreamer. I think we all recognize the work that so many young people around this country have been doing, but not only in this country, but also in our county. So I was very, very pleased that the Freeholder Board realized that it is important for us to recognize the young people around this country who are fighting the good fight with a law that really needs to be supported. And then finally, I just want to commend the bullying recognition this evening as well, because we have to really recognize that in our country, there's no need and no way that we should be advocating for bullying. So I applaud the Freeholder Board, but also the leadership here for recognizing that it is important that we fight and support the community and our students on work that is really going to impact in their future lives. And again, I also echo the sentiments of Freeholder Mirabella in welcoming Ed Oatman, but also that we have a lot of work to do, and I look forward to working together as a collective so that we can be responsive to the residents. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Freeholder Berger?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Freeholder Hudak took a lot of my words. Speaking about Freeholder Estrada, what I was going to say is that much has been made that Freeholder Estrada is the first Latino chairman of the NJTPA. And while that's important, as Freeholder Hudak said, what's more important is that Freeholder Estrada is experienced, knowledgeable, and he's going to work hard as the head of that agency, having nothing to do with his ethnicity. He's a wonderful choice to lead the NJTPA, and it's an honor for Union County to have him get that position, and we thank him for taking on that responsibility. Also concerning transportation, the weekend before his inauguration, Governor Murphy joined Senator Scutari, Mayor Armstead, Freeholder Chairman, Vice Chairman, Freeholder Hudak, and me, among many others, at the Linden train station. And he was on a statewide tour to find out what local issues were. And it was very important that we had an opportunity here in Union County to, and particularly Linden, to point out to the incoming governor what our needs were for transportation and at the train station and so on. And then just earlier this week, following up on that, and I believe this was at the Summit train station, and the chairman was in attendance, the governor signed a new executive order to complete an audit of New Jersey Transit so we can find out what the problems are and start beginning to fix the problems there. As was mentioned earlier, I had the pleasure of joining with Freeholders Garrettson and Estrada in seeing the governor's inauguration in Trenton, and I've never been to a gubernatorial inauguration before, so it was really quite enjoyable. So I have nothing to compare it to, but I have to believe that this inauguration was maybe a little more informal than maybe prior ones. I was very impressed that the governor had all four of his children speak, and they all spoke wonderfully. And the children then introduced his wife, who also spoke and introduced him. And I really thought it was a reflection on how our new governor cares about his family and the families here in New Jersey. And I look forward to a very productive 4 years with our new governor. This board will continue to work with him and the legislature to do what's important for Union County and New Jersey. I also want to welcome Ed Oatman as our new county manager. On advice of counsel, I'm not going to talk about the questions on process because there is a threatened lawsuit. But I want to give my opinion, and I do think that Ed Oatman is very well qualified to fill the position of county manager at this time. Our country, our state, our county are involved in many moving parts, many important issues that are going on at every level of government. And somebody mentioned he doesn't have any experience overseeing employees. Well, that's one part of the job, but there are many parts of the job, and Ed Oatman is particularly experienced in dealing with the many levels of government, and that's something that Union County is going to need going forward. So among all of his other skills, I think that one is particularly important, and I do look forward to working with Ed over the next many years and continuing to move our county forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Freeholder Carter?
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to take this opportunity again to thank this board on their continued support for UC STEP. It is very close to me knowing that this program developed from a conversation, and it really started the year before from Union County Means Business. We went into Union County Women Means Business, and we wanted to make sure that we encompassed all that were here in Union County, so we needed to bring the piece of our youth in it. But I also want to especially thank all of the staff and the volunteers. This was not something that the 9 of us sat here and said, let's go for it. It would not have been able to be possible and continue to grow if it wasn't for the staff that was here and the volunteer hours that not only they gave, but also those that gave in the community. It was wonderful to see our volunteers come back year after year. And one of the biggest things is we also had some of our youth that attended previously who also came and volunteered to support the program. So again, thank you, board, and thank you to all of the staff around county, and especially all of our volunteers. Our nation's infrastructure is again in the spotlight. And with that in mind, I'm pleased to report that Union County will receive $2.9 million in federal grants to make safety improvements at 4 intersections in the city of Plainfield. The improvements include high visibility crosswalks and pedestrian signals, updated traffic signals, and potentially dedicated left turn lanes. This project is among 14 throughout the region that the NJTPA Board of Trustees approved earlier this week. I would like to take the opportunity to thank the newly elected president, Freeholder Estrada, for his work and his colleagues' work on this important upgrade, which will enhance corridors that connect major commercial hubs. The improvements will make a significant difference in Plainfield and the surrounding areas by helping motorists navigate through local streets and reducing congestion. The improvements are also designated to encourage more residents and visitors to walk and use bicycles. That's good for healthy lifestyle, good for our neighborhoods, and good for the planet too. So thank you, Freeholder Estrada. In your newly elected position, you're already making things happen. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Estrada?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, that was the first meeting. I guess it's good to start the right way, and we approved $2.9+ million for this project. But if you only understood the time that it takes for this project to become a reality, then you'll really understand how government works. Our engineering department has been involved with this program for now a couple of years. I, who used to be the chair of the project prioritization committee, prioritized this as a very important project for Union County. And finally, at the day of when I took the responsibility of chairmanship of the New Jersey Transportation Planning Authority, we was able actually to vote on it to make it happen. So, but it's interesting because let me address an issue that Bruce brought up in terms that I thank all my colleagues for your support. The issue of being Latino and actually sitting in this board. I've learned many years ago that often minorities, that's women, Afro-Americans, Latino, and any minority in this country doesn't necessarily get to sit at the big table that often. And when we do sit at the table, we need a lot of more requirements in order to actually get that far. And if anybody disagrees with my statement, I'll be here after the meeting. We'll have a discussion about that. Because I followed my buddy Sullivan years ago. I mean, Dan and I were sitting, I was the alternate in the NJTPA probably for the last maybe 10 years. 5, I've been the vice chair after Dan went to the Improvement Authority. I became the representative for Union County, and we we are part of 13 counties, as well as the Department of Transportation, New Jersey Transit, Port Authority of New York, and New Jersey are part of our board, and to a budget of approximately $2.1 billion a year that we approve. So we have many projects, and I, no different as a representative of the residents of Union County, have many of our projects that are in line to be taken into account for some federal funds. We have issues, for example, the City of Elizabeth train station, which sometimes is federal money, sometimes it's not federal money, and that depends how it's handled. The Exit 12 in Linden that we've been working for years now, that's something that, as a matter of fact, I had a discussion last week about, in essence, of trying to get the funding so it gets back into our transportation improvement plan, which is so critical and puts you in line to be able to receive these funds. So Union County has many of these projects, all the bridge improvements that we have. For example, one of the ones that doesn't escape me in Roselle Park in Roselle, the Gordon Street Bridge is a state project that's been back and forth for a long time. Now that goes through our organization as well, and there is only a certain time frame that the project has to be delivered upon, and that's not necessarily always the best thing to do. But about sitting on the table, very often we find that that's not as easy, and I was mentioning to my good friend Dan Sullivan about sitting at the table, and the stars have to line up. But first of all, I must recognize the chair, Chairman Granados, who maintained me in that board, because he could have changed me. He had the right to do that. We serve in any boards that we serve. It's at the pleasure of the chair, and I appreciate very much Freeholder Granados for you maintaining me in that program, and all my colleagues who voted in favor of that. I appreciate it. I will only do the work that I've always done for our county. I'm very much concerned to ensure that whenever we can get somebody else to pay for our bills, I'm going to be there and make sure that that's happening and that the money's used wisely. So, you know, it's interesting, when I was there on Monday and B.J. Kowalski joined me that day, and to see the amount of talent that participates in this board, it's very important. We're amongst individuals who is, first of all, it's a bipartisan board, and by our bylaws, we take turns. I superseded Freeholder Palmer from Somerset County, who is a 50-year veteran at least. And Dan will notice that people who serve in these boards don't normally leave. In this particular case, I know Peter has given a lot of years of service. He's had tremendous knowledge of how this operates. And like him, many other individuals who've been there for a long time and get it and are very much involved in making as best as a shared responsibility, and we do it very effectively. So my thanks to all of you. I appreciate it very much. We also have Lisa Betts, who is also the president of RTAC. Now, one of the things that the NJTPA has tremendous acronyms. I have to carry a little book and look them up because there's so many of them. And they keep updating this book now of all the different acronyms. But RTAC is our equivalent with the local individuals that also follow every single one of these projects. And I'm very happy to have Lisa involved into this process. She was elected by back in last October as the one responsible for all the 13 counties and 3 agencies. She definitely has a tremendous of experience. She's also our liaison in terms of the TAC, the Transportation Advisory Council, which are made up of all the different cities in Union County, and they advise this board in issues of transportation. One of the things that we've had issues over the years is the service that we're getting from New Jersey Transit. I'm sorry to say that, in my opinion, New Jersey Transit has been an agency that has operated with very little money, very little maintenance. They do maintenance on trains when only necessary, the buses as well. So New Jersey has plenty of challenges going ahead. We also have deal with the Port Authority, and there was some issues last week about the issue of the, as you know, the Norfolk Bridge is moving along very well. I was surprised last week to see that part of the spans are being already taken apart and barged away out of Elizabeth. So you will see a lot of progress, and all this is very important. We talk about the tunnels into New York. Now, that is a project that's going to cost a tremendous amount of money and may not fix the problems that we have in terms of scheduling into the city. The one-seat ride on the Rackham Valley line, which I'm happy to announce that BJ and Bruce are going to take the leadership of that in conjunction with Peter Palmer from Somerset. It's a challenge. It's a very serious challenge because we all want our residents to have the best access to the city, where the big jobs are and the money is to be made, and unfortunately that we have challenges. So I'll keep you posted, and I thank you very much again.
Thank you for your other Estrada. County Council?
No comments, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
County Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just 2 brief comments. I'd like to extend my personal congratulations to Freeholder Estrada on becoming chairman of NJTPA. Having worked very closely with him when I was the director of economic development, I can tell you that for many, many years, he was leading the fight to get Union County additional dollars, and sometimes when not too many people were listening. So I know he's going to do a great job. Second, just a point of clarification. One speaker had indicated that all of our county employees are unionized, and that is not the case. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Vice Chair Kowalski?
Thank you, Chairman. I also would like to congratulate Angel, and it was my pleasure to attend the meeting where you first were elected chairman of the NJTPA, and it was clear to me that really all of the representatives, county representatives and professionals there recognize your abilities and leadership, and I know you're going to be working hard for us there, and of course we will support you in that. Also look forward to working with Mr. Oatman. I want to let everybody know that we had a point in time count yesterday. This is where our county staff and many volunteers go out and try to make contact with homeless people. It goes on late in the night and then into the day. There's a national census of homeless persons, and it's under a mandate from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And what happens, people who are homeless are invited to come to county offices to get services, to be directed to homeless shelters. We follow up with them, and it gives us information on how to really make life better. We don't want anyone to be homeless, and it's a challenge in these economic times, especially with the price of housing. But let me also mention that the Salvation Army in Plainfield and the Elizabeth Coalition to House the Homeless are doing very important work in this regard. So I just want to thank everyone involved with that, and this board will continue to work with you. I want to thank also the UC STEP students. Thanks, of course, to Freeholders Carter and Mirabella, and to Chairman Granados for his support on that. Also to Ms. Mora, and thanks to the governor for his support for our immigrant communities. I think he's made it clear where he stands on defending the dreamers and people who want to work here, live here, contribute to our society, no matter which country they come from. My family, as well as I think probably most of the families of the freeholders here, and probably everyone in this room, originally came from some other country. I would also like to mention briefly, I think everybody who pays any attention to what goes on with county affairs knows that really county government is a very involved thing. And if you look at the resolutions that are on for tonight, we have resolutions. It's not just about street repair, bridge repair, the county clerk, support for the prosecutor's office. There was the phrase mentioned, making decisions for the good of the people. And really, I think that that's what most of the people of Union County recognize that we're here to do. There's another resolution about cooperative contracting, where all of our cities and towns in Union County can work with our purchasing cooperative to get a better deal for basic equipment and supplies that they need, so that they don't need to raise their taxes more. The county provides services that the towns and the cities cannot afford to get on their own. And there's so many unsung efforts that happen every day. For instance, today in Cranford, where I live, the 911 dispatch service went out for some reason. I don't know, maybe there was an electrical short or what. But the county immediately switched this to our county dispatch service, so that people who had emergencies, those calls were not going to just disappear into the ether. The county stepped in and filled a need. Similarly, we've had cold weather. If some town or city runs out of salt, Mr. Graziano steps right up, and he's there to help if you run out of salt. Union County residents know that our county government really provides services. All of us are committed to doing this, and I just thank my colleagues and Chairman Granados for continuing to guide us in all this work. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Just want to make a couple of comments in reference to Freeholder Estrada and his new role. While it is great, and we don't always look at ethnicity, and but you are the first Latino, and that is definitely something to be commended on. You're somebody who's been extremely active and making sure that you continue the fight to making sure, like you said before, Union County gets every single dollar we deserve and more. And for that, I just say thank you for all your hard work there on that in that new role. When it came to the point in time count, I just want to make an acknowledgement of Director Anderson and her team. I know this is her first one, doing an amazing job. And also having Freeholder Estrada, Freeholder Carter, Sheriff Corvelli, Deputy County Manager Wagner also participating at 2:30 in the morning, I believe it was, 2:30?
Yes.
At 2:30 in the morning.
Quite early.
Yes.
Quite early.
In making sure that they went out too, because this is an important service in locating individuals who are homeless and trying to get them the services they deserve also. I know we also saw individuals when Freeholder Strato and I were together, a veteran, homeless veteran. And we're there to make sure that all individuals, especially individuals who serve their country, in making sure that we're free here, get all the necessary resources and find housing for them. Also, at the Governor Murphy's executive order signing for NJ Transit doing a full audit, it was definitely a great bipartisan measure having Senator Kane there, Senator Weinberg there, Assemblywoman Munoz, and one thing he made mention of is his great leadership when it comes to the individuals here in Union County, working together with them and seeing the hard work that's being done by Freeholder Bergen and Freeholder Kowalski when it comes to the Veteran Rally Coalition and all your efforts. So with that said, I just want to say thank you for everything you guys are doing on that point of view. With that said, tonight we need to enter into executive session. County Council, please make your statement relative to tonight's executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, public body may enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing certain enumerated subjects. This board now wishes to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing attorney-client privilege communications, discussions relative to an amended shared services agreement with the Union County Improvement Authority for the Oak Ridge Park project, and anticipated negotiation with the State of New Jersey Natural and Historic Resources.
May I have a motion to enter in? Oh, sorry.
That's okay. The minutes of the executive session shall be separated from the minutes of the open public session. The minutes of the executive session, redacted as appropriate and necessary, shall be available in approximately 30 days. The clerk to the board shall retain the original minutes until such time as confidential limitations have been removed, at which time they shall be made available. Upon the affirmative vote of a majority of the members present, the board may retire to executive session. Upon the board's return, it will not take any formal action on the matters discussed.
May I have a motion to enter an executive session?
So second.
Thank you very much. Motion was made by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Carter. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada. Yes. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Yes.
And Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you very much. Executive session. May I have a motion to return from executive session?
So
Second.
Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Hudak, seconded by Freeholder Carter. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Just picked any random freeholders.
Everybody says.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Carter.
yes.
Freeholder Estrada. Yes. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Yes.
And Chairman Granados. Chairman Granados.
Thank you very much. Aye.
No, aye. Okay, so Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
County Council, you have any remarks in reference to executive session?
Nothing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.